Good morning. I'm just going to wait for a few more friends to jump on and we will get started today. Hi, Lucian. How are you today? Good morning, Sweta. I'm so glad to see you guys on even early. I was just double checking our technology to make sure it was working all right today, so I'm glad to see you guys on. May I want you. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna wait about 2 more minutes, okay? So tell me how you guys are. Sweta, how are you today, sweetheart? Are you doing well? Sweta, are you doing your assignments on Google Classroom, sweetheart? Oh, today is Flower Day. I did not know that. Flower Day. That's so cool. Why didn't I know that? Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Oh, that looks cool. Okay. I am going to share my screen with you now, and we will get started. No, doesn't this look cool? Okay, my friends, I am going to get started. I hope a few more friends jump on, but I would like to get through some of our knowledge today and do a few review things because if you have not done it already, we have our domain assessment and that is due this Friday or this week. So I hope that all of you do very well on it because this should be a review. We did get to all of these things in our classroom before we went on this break. So a lot of it is talking about the cycles of nature and how our earth rotates and the seasons changing, which is great right now because I see the weather is changing finally and our temperatures are going up. So that is a sign that we are going into what season? What season are we in right now? If it's the cold is going away and it is starting to warm up very slowly, then what season are we coming into? So you all should know that by now, I'm hoping. So let's go over. I'm just going to show you a few picture slides, and I'm going to read a little bit from each of our lessons that we have done so far as a review. And then we are going to go over the couple Kahoot questions that we have that are in our Google Classroom assignment. And lastly, I will give you a little bit more information about our lunch that I am scheduling for Friday at noon. And that Friday at noon, this Friday the 1st, will be our optional lunch. And you can bring a snack or you can just come and hang out with us over Google Meet this time. So we are going to use that through the Google Classroom, and the link and the code will be in our Google Classroom on Friday morning. I posted something today about it, but I have yet to disclose the code. So we will have a Google Meet link at the top of our stream in our classroom periodically, and that is how you'll get into it. I do want to say that it will be a lot easier if you download the app first, because it might ask you to sign up or log in with the student's email. And just a reminder, you are only going to be able to get into our Google Meet if you are using your district email. So the school email that we provided for you with at eriesd.org. If you accidentally log in with your own Gmail account or something, it will not allow you to. So that is a key part of making sure that you can get into our Google Meet on Friday, if that is what you would like. Okay, so I'm going to share your screen, so I will see you very shortly. And to start off, we are going to talk about the spinning or rotation that we have, or because of our Earth. So I'm going to read this slide for you. Earth spins around and around, a never-ending cycle. That's our word that we love, cycle. It's something that goes over and over or happens over and over again. A never-ending cycle that shapes everything we do here on Earth. The Earth is constantly moving. Can we feel the Earth moving? Can you feel it moving? Right now, freeze where you're at. Do you feel that our Earth is moving? No, we don't feel that. As Earth turns around, parts of it face the sun and part of it faces away from the sun. Remember, the sun is a star that provides light, heat, and energy for the Earth. Can you guess what cycle happens when our part of the Earth faces the sun, then rotates to face away from the sun? Can you tell me what cycle that is? If our Earth is rotating or spinning right here, this is our axle, or say that word, axle, and it is tilted just a little bit. And if this is like a ballerina spinning, just like a ballerina would, our Earth is rotating on our axis, and I want you to think, if the sun is over here where this ballerina is, and the Earth is rotating around it, what cycle is that talking about? What is happening when the Earth is rotating? One whole rotation. Did you guess the cycle of daytime and nighttime? Because you're right. The cycle of daytime and nighttime is the result of our planet rotating or spinning around an imaginary line called an axis. What is an axis? Well, imagine a spinning basketball turning around and around. Then try to picture an imaginary line running through the basketball. From the bottom to the top, that imaginary line is what we call the axis. Now, rotation is the movement of Earth on its axis. This controls the cycle of daytime and nighttime. Earth takes 24 hours to turn and rotate back to the position from which it started. Why is that number familiar to you? 24 hours. What do we know of that has 24 hours? Is 24 hours how much time there is in a month or in a week? No, it's in a day. So it rotates, and it takes 24 hours for that cycle to happen. Rotation takes us from daytime to nighttime and back to the very beginning of daytime again, before the cycle starts. As As Earth rotates, light from the sun falls on one half of the Earth. We call this daytime. The other half of the Earth is in darkness, and we call this nighttime. As Earth continues to rotate, the part of Earth that had sunlight moves into darkness, and the part that had darkness moves into sunlight. So in our photo right here, in our picture, here is the sun as we see on the right side of our page, and the sun is providing light for half of our Earth right now. The Earth is on our axis that we spoke about. It's rotating or spinning. So which part, point to on your screen, which part of the Earth, the right side or left side that you see in the picture, is in nighttime? Good morning, Vincent. I see you. Great to have you on here. Good morning. So which side is in nighttime? The one on your left or the one on your right? You have to think, where is the sun shining? So we used flashlights in the classroom and we held up our little earth ball. So if you have the flashlight shining on one side, then is it going to provide light on the other side? No, not quite, because it has yet to rotate around to that side. Good morning. Good morning, Benster and Soulstar. I see you signed in with your YouTube channel. How wonderful. And Sweat, I love the emojis that you're using. That is showing exactly what our... Good morning, Kingston. That is showing exactly what we're talking about with how the sun and the moon are. Very good. How are you today, Kingston? It's great to have you here today. All right, friends, let's move on to our next one. So now, very importantly, our next review topic is going to be talking about the Earth revolving around the sun. Do you know why many plants grow more rapidly during the summer and more slowly or not at all during the winter? Or why some animals migrate, say that word, migrate, whereas others hibernate, say that word, hibernate. Migrate, think about that in your head. What do you think that means? Migrate is to think of the first letter of the word migrate, M, and think of move. They want to move to warmer weather. So they are going to migrate or move to a different area on Earth that is warmer for them for that colder season. So have you ever heard or seen that birds fly south for the winter? That's because it's colder up here in the north, and it still stays a little bit warmer in the south during the winter time. And then some animals hibernate. Can you think of an animal that hibernates in the winter? Hibernation is when an animal is going to take a long slumber or a long sleep during that cold weather. I think that would be a really, really long nap. So when an animal migrates, it leaves to spend winter in warmer places. When an animal hibernates, it finds a special place to rest until spring. Very good, Kingston. A bear hibernates. Very good. Give me an air 5, buddy. Air 5. Now, only certain parts of our planet have seasons. This is because of the shape and tilt of the Earth. Remember, in our Earth, we have that imaginary line of an axis where my mouse is right now. It's diagonal. It's not exactly vertical and it's not exactly horizontal. It's just tilted. The region around the equator, remember, that is our line that divides our Earth from top to bottom into two pieces. The equator receives the greatest amount of direct, intense sunlight. This region of the Earth is called the tropical region because it's almost always hot and humid. The North and South poles receive the least amount of sun or direct sunlight. They are the polar regions. Now tell me two areas that do not receive the most sunlight or any at all. I just gave you a hint. They're called the polar regions. So think about one of them is related to a holiday that we celebrate, that a lot celebrate, and I look forward, let's see, I look forward to hearing any answers. I love all those answers, Kingston. Very good. You are correct. Wash hands. Let's see. Good job, Sweta. We have the North and South Pole. Very good. Our next topic to review is talking about our 4 seasons in the Northern Hemisphere. The Northern Hemisphere is where we are at. On our screen right now, where my mouse is at, I'm showing you that this line right here is what we call the equator, that divides or separates, that's a math word, that divides our Earth into the Northern and Southern Hemisphere. So right here, it says, remember, during the time of the year when the Northern Hemisphere is tilted toward the sun, this part of our world receives more daylight and more intense sunlight. This means it is summertime in the Northern Hemisphere. At the same time, the Southern Hemisphere is tilted away from the sun, so it is winter. So friends, we're in the Northern Hemisphere, and you see, this is the sun. Where is it shining? Where is it shining? We have more intense, warmer weather when it is summertime. So when we're in the Northern Hemisphere, our seasons are going to be opposite of the Southern Hemisphere. Okay. Our next review point, I see all of your emojis. I love it. Our next review point, I just wanted to show you exactly what you would see underneath or underground. When we were talking about the characteristics of a tree, we wrote articles and stories about what you see, what you feel when you're using your senses. So this is what you see above ground, and that's visible to your eye. What this magnifier right here is pointing at is the tree's trunk. Say that word, trunk. And then the trunk has this rough, gritty looking material or texture on the side, and that is called bark. Kind of like what a dog does. A dog can bark. So this is bark on the outside of the tree that protects its inner layer and the rings inside of the tree. This is, of course, a leaf. And then I wanted you to see, you might sometimes see roots popping up above ground, but this is where it all gets so beautiful and really cool to see. If you were able to dig underneath a tree and see all of the roots and where it gets its nutrients, it looks like a big web or a spider web, and they're all intertwined and locked together. And that is where they are getting their food from, because when it rains, the water soaks up into the ground and goes down into the roots, and that's where it waters our plants. So not only trees have roots, but other plants as well. Even the smallest little flower will have small roots that dig down and attach itself to the ground. And that is how the flower stays put, or the tree, as well as that's where it gains its nutrients. All right. So if it is an apple that we are speaking of, every type of living thing has a life cycle. So right here in this photo, this is what we saw in the previous picture, but how does it get there? How do we get the apples that we buy in the grocery store? the plant has a life cycle and it continues over and over again, just like our four seasons do: spring, summer, fall, winter. And then again, that cycle starts again: spring, summer, fall, winter. I see Sweta typed that in our comments. So, first, the tree is live and living well, and the apple falls off of the tree. Inside of that apple, there are seeds. These seeds are then planted and it becomes a sprout once it has all of its nutrients, which is food, sunlight, water. And then it starts to grow, become larger and go through the seasons. The roots dig in and attach. And then after it blooms, it grows the apples. Now, challenge. Do all trees grow apples? Tell me from home. Do all trees grow apples? Do you see apples on every tree? No, because every seed is growing something of their own. So we might have a pear tree or an apple tree, or we might just have a tree that has flowers or just leaves. It just might be a specific type of tree, like an oak or any type of tree that you might see outside. And then the others go through the blooming stage where it needs that extra sunlight, and that is during our spring and summer. And that is when those things blossom or bloom, which could be the apple or peaches or pears, whatever you are talking about from the seed. Now, let's see. All right, I wanted you to see, can you tell me what this image is of? What is this picture showing you? Day 4, day 8, day 13, 17, and 20. What is this picture showing you? You see on the left-hand side right here, there is not a little baby chicken there yet. Whoops, I'm sorry, I'm scrolling. Right here, not yet, but then day 8, it starts to grow a little bit larger. This is the life cycle. This is the life cycle of what? And then finally, that chick is ready to hatch or is ready to become a baby in the real world rather than inside its safe shell inside of the egg. So this is the life cycle of a baby chick or a chicken. And that all starts from the hen. The hen will lay an egg. Then inside of the egg is a baby chick. And after it went through the whole cycle of growing and becoming large enough in order to hatch to be a healthy chick, then it uses its little beak and pecks and pecks and pecks, and it cracks its egg open and becomes a baby chick. And then once that baby chick grows up, what does it become? It becomes a hen. So we're talking about everything having a life cycle, and that's exactly what this shows you with our baby chick. Now, this is something we're very familiar with, which this is a life cycle of a butterfly. A life cycle of a butterfly is something that we look at often because of our class pet or our favorite thing, our butterfly. And in our butterfly's life cycle, before it becomes this beautiful butterfly, it has to start off inside this, it's like a soft, gooey substance, kind of. And what comes out, it's called larva, and then it hatches into a caterpillar. And then this is our favorite word that we were practicing. It's called a chrysalis. So once it creates this chrysalis around itself as a caterpillar, then it waits and waits and waits, and it grows, and then it starts to show beautiful wings. And once it hatches from its chrysalis, then it is a beautiful butterfly. I think everyone loves our life cycle of a butterfly. And now let me show you one more thing. Oh, look at how beautiful these monarch butterflies are. I wanted to show you this chrysalis right here. The chrysalis is something that caterpillar is in, and it transforms or changes into the butterfly inside of that, and it is transparent. Can you say that word for me? Transparent. Transparent means that you are able to see through it, or it is clear. As you can see that it's a very thin film layer, and you can see the transformation happening just a little bit. And then once it emerges and opens up its wings, it is coming out of here just like an egg does, or just like a chick does from an egg. All right, our last review topic, and that is going to be the water cycle. So the water cycle is something that allows all of our life cycles to happen. You think the nutrients that each of those plants and animals need are water, sunlight, and this water cycle, in order for the water to come down to earth and for our plants to be watered, or for our animals to get water for nutrients and to drink, this is what has to happen. Once precipitation occurs, that is where the water is lifted up. You can't see this happening. The process starts all over again. Water on Earth evaporates and rises up into the atmosphere as water vapor. Water vapor is what we see as clouds. As it cools or condenses, clouds form once again. Clouds are much more than fun shapes in the sky. Without clouds, there would be no precipitation. Precipitation is when it's raining or snowing or sleet, hail. Without precipitation, nothing could live or grow on Earth. So we're right here, the water evaporates and it generates the clouds. So, challenge question, what are clouds full of, or what are they made of? I know that they started as water, but they are water vapor. Then it goes into and creates these clouds. And then if it didn't rain or precipitate, then we couldn't have living things on Earth, or it would make it very difficult for them to survive. And the rain helps control all of our life cycles. So it rains again, and then the whole cycle starts over again. All right, my wonderful dears. So I am going to ask you some questions. I am going to do some review with you very quickly. If you have already done the domain assessment, please don't worry about this part. If you would like to click off, that is okay. We're just going to review a little bit, and then we'll do the short Kahoot before we're all done today. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to type in our comment section either a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or a true or false, so that you can get this review in before you take our assessment. Okay, get your keyboards ready, get your fingers ready. I would like to see your responses as quickly as you can. Okay, is wind a form of precipitation? Remember in our picture that we just saw, precipitation is when what happens? So is rain a form of precipitation? I'll wait for our answers to start coming in. I know you know this. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you the answer. It is good morning, Adrian. I did not see you. Nice to see you. All right. I'm sorry, but no. Precipitation is water coming down from the sky. Wind is the movement of our air. So wind is not a form of precipitation. All right, next question. This is our big word that we learned already. Metamorphosis. Say that word. Metamorphosis. So for metamorphosis, do humans go through metamorphosis? Do humans go through metamorphosis? Remember, this is changing. This is something where our body changes like a frog does. A frog goes through metamorphosis where it is changing from a tadpole to a frog. So the answer to that question is humans do not go through metamorphosis. We are still a human. We are still the same species when we are born and when we are an adult. Yes, we go through the change of becoming a baby and then a, a toddler, a child, and then a teenager and an adult, like our life cycle, but we are not morphing into something else. Or when you think of a superhero, we're not changing our persona or who we are. We are still the same species. So, like a werewolf, we are not changing or morphing like that because unfortunately, we are just humans and we do not have any special things that we change into in real life. Okay. Condensation. Say that word. Condensation. Condensation. When water droplets are formed from water vapor, so they're pulled up, they're evaporating, they're formed, water vapor, is condensation occurring? So think of this. When you have a cup from McDonald's, wherever you go to eat, wherever you go out to eat with the to-go cup, on the outside of the cup, there is water droplets, or usually the cup gets a little bit wet. And that is called condensation. So when droplets form of water vapor, is condensation occurring? Is that what that is? So when the water becomes water vapor to make our clouds, is condensation occurring or happening? And the answer to that question is yes, or thumbs up. Very good. Okay, I have a couple more for you. If you can't see through a door, does that mean it's transparent? If you can't see through the door, does that mean that it is transparent? Remember in the slides that we went through, what does it mean to be transparent? It's something about seeing or visibility. See all of your answers. I love your thumbs up and thumbs downs. So transparent is what we talked about with the chrysalis. So the chrysalis is visible, or where we can see through it a little bit. So it is transparent. So if you think of your screen door at home or a glass door or a window, is that window transparent? Can you see through it? If I were to stand on one side of a glass door, could you see me? So yes, that door is then transparent, just like our chrysalis in the butterfly's life cycle. All right, two more, my friends, two more. This animal hatches from an egg as a larva in the form of a caterpillar. What animal am I? This animal hatches from an egg as a larva in the form of a caterpillar. What animal am I? I know everyone should know this one. I'm going to see the emojis popping up of our beautiful class pet. I'm sure it is a butterfly. Very good, Adrian. Very good. Great spelling as well. I'm proud of you. All right. How about we do two more? Two more now instead. I have this animal uses its egg tooth to hatch from an egg that has a shell and a yolk. Okay, so the first answer was butterfly. Our second answer, this animal uses its egg tooth to hatch from an egg that has a shell and a yolk. Think of what you eat for breakfast sometimes, scrambled eggs. So which one of our animals that we're talking about has a shell or starts in an egg? That is, I see my emojis popping up, and that is a baby chick or the life cycle. It's from the life cycle of a chick. All right, now this is really our last one before we play our Kahoot game. And this animal goes through stages of metamorphosis from tadpole to adult. So, tadpole to adult, think of where our starting point is and where our ending point is. Goes through metamorphosis. Do we morph or do we go through metamorphosis? No. So, what animal are we talking about that does? They change from one thing to another. Oh, I love seeing all our emojis pop up. Very good. I see one. I see another. Very good, Sweta. Good job, Adrian. Great job, Bentley. Lucian. Very good. I love seeing the hearts, Kingston. Thank you. Okay, my dearest friends, I am going to share my screen again with you, and we are going to go through the Kahoot together. And there are only a few questions, but if you did this already, you should be an expert at it. And if not, then it's going to be review for you and practice for your quiz. So let me get that started. So as I am putting our screen together for Kahoot, tell your friends something that you are seeing change right now because of the weather change. What do you see? Hear, maybe? Smell? Tell me something that is changing in the atmosphere around you because of our seasons change. Please type that in the comments and I will set up our Kahoot. I want to come back and see some answers. All right, start finishing up your answers, start typing them out. What are you seeing? Flowers, I like that. Flowers and plants, trees, very good. I see rain emojis. Wind, there's a lot of wind, good. Now a review again is wind, a form of precipitation. We just did that one. Is wind a form of precipitation? No, it is not. Flowers coming up. Very good, Kingston. I love to see your answers. Perfect. All right, friends, I'm going to share my screen for our Kahoot, and I want to see how well we do together as a team. Because remember, teamwork makes the dream work. Very good. All right. Let's see. Sorry, my dear friends. Okay. All right, friends. I'm going to type my name in. Miss Millet. Hit OK. And my name will pop up. Remember, we do not need a code for this one. Okay, first question. Is a life cycle the stages a living thing goes through from birth to adult? Is a life cycle Sorry, I just changed something so it'd be easier for me to see. Okay, friends, sorry. Is a life cycle the stages a living thing goes through from birth to adult? I see your answer, Bentley. Very good. What should I answer, my friends? What should I answer? Yes, it is, because a life cycle, they start very good and go through, and then it goes all over again. So when you're on the Kahoot, you hit the next button. Do we live in the southern hemisphere of Earth? Do we live in the southern hemisphere of Earth? Remember what north and south means and where we saw it in our pictures and our slides that we went through earlier. Do we live in the southern hemisphere? Let me see some answers come in and then I will answer. Adrian, I see your answer. Very good. Okay, and our answer is no. We live in the northern hemisphere. It's all right if you did not know. That's what our review is for. Is germination the stage when a plant flowers and makes new seeds? Is germination the stage when a plant flowers and makes new seeds? So germination, remember, is when it spreads around or seeds are being planted. Does germination mean that the flower is growing? I'm going to help you out on this one. Germination is not the stage when a plant flowers and makes new seeds. That is blooming or sprouting. So our answer is false. Very good. We're doing good. Do humans go through metamorphosis? Oh, everyone should know this answer super quickly. Metamorphosis. What is this picture here? That looks like a chick, but it is popcorn. Does a popcorn go through metamorphosis? So are humans, and do we go through metamorphosis as we learned already? No, we do not. We are not morphing into another being. All right. Does a plant tend to thrive when it has sunlight, water, and warmth? Thrive Think again, what does that mean? It means that it's doing well. So you are thriving, you are living well, you are growing. So does a plant tend to thrive when it has sunlight, water, and warmth? Think about what a flower or a plant needs. All of its needs. Very good, Adrian. Very quick. Let's see. And let's see if Adrian and the rest of you are correct. Yes. We have our answer streak of 5. Let's keep it going, friends. All right, true or false? A baby frog is called a tadpole. A baby frog is called a tadpole. Remember, what does our baby frog start out as? And then it morphs into part frog, part tadpole. Then it changes into a frog after it loses the tail. Very good. I see our answers coming in. A baby frog is called a tadpole. And on to our last question of the day. True or false? A butterfly starts off as a caterpillar. Look at our life cycle right here. This is a very good picture of how a caterpillar, then it goes into our chrysalis, and then it leaves its chrysalis, that transparent thin material, and morphs or changes into a butterfly. So, does a butterfly start off as a caterpillar? And our final answer is yes, it does. Very, very good. So let's see our final score. Great job. Juliana and Addie and Lucian, we all have the same score. I'm not sure who Boo is. We're supposed to use our names, so I know who you are, sillies. So, all right, my friends. So it was wonderful to review with you today for our knowledge domain assessment, and I hope that helped a little bit. Now, I would like you to go in and take those assignments and finish them up this week if you have not already, and I look forward to seeing all those grades pop up, and I see already a few of you got 100% on it. So I'm so proud of all of you, and I'm so happy that you're working really hard over this time. And lastly, I just wanted to remind you of what we talked about at the beginning of our meeting or at the beginning of our class, is that on Friday at noon, we will be having a Google Meet, where that is a video conference just like Zoom. We'll be having that through our Google Classroom, and that is what is approved through the district, and that is why we are changing the area that we're doing that at, because of security purposes and things like that. So I know that we wanted to have a class meeting with our 214 family, and we are going to do it over Zoom, but instead we are going to switch over to Google Meet. That is all run through our Google Classroom, and that will be on Friday at noon. So that is the 1st. I look forward to that, and if you would like to bring a snack or your lunch with you right in front of the camera, that is fine. I'm going to have a lunch date with all of you, and we will be able to chat just like this, but see everyone else. So thank you so much for listening today, and I appreciate all of you for participating, and you've definitely earned some points. So have a wonderful day, and I hope all of you get to go outside and enjoy this beautiful weather before it rains, and hopefully I will see all of you on Friday at noon. All right, I love you all. I will see you soon.